If the shoe fits, bet it. Trust the profits is the formula here, and we're going to be going through a full field rundown of the Shoemaker mile, at least as we know of it today, at least as we think of it as of today. And these are probables and possibles. We don't have morning lines yet. We don't have the full card, but what we do have is what HRN provides us as being the horses that will probably be entered in this race. It is a 8 furlong, 1 mile turf race. It is a G1. It is at Santa Anita. It's the Shoemaker Stakes. Let's go through the horses that we think are going to make the cut there. Oh, it is also on May 29th, which is Memorial Day. This is a Monday G1 race. Let's get to it. Hong Kong Harry. 9 wins in 15 races. That's pretty damn impressive, Harry. Second place finish last time out. G1 Turf Classic, 9 furlong race at Churchill Downs, losing up to the mark by 3 3/4 lengths in that race. For that, had a fourth place finish. The Frank Kilroe, which is going to come up a lot in this. There's a lot of horses from that race in it, including Gold Phoenix, who beat him by 1 1/4 lengths. Impressive streak of wins and places once he came over to California in March of 2022, winning 5 races, 2 of those G2s, and also a G3 in there. Hong Kong Harry. Gold Phoenix, as we just spoke about last time out, he did have a fourth place finish at the Whittingham, G2, uh, a G2 race, 10 furlongs, going downhill at Santa Anita, 2.5 lengths behind Office Naughty. Bumped by Midnight Joe Star there, impacted his finish, I would say, if you watch the replay of that race, at least as much of the replay as they'll show you. He did win the Frank Kilroe, which, as I said before, is going to come up a number of times here. Won it by a neck over De Jour. Pretty impressive there. CABO Spirit was a part of that as well. Didn't fare well in the BC Turf Mile, though. Finished 9 lengths behind Rebels Romance. Had some traffic issues in that race. Previous to BC, had yet to finish out of the money in 9 races. Finished third at the John Henry going downhill at Santa Anita. So going downhill at Santa Anita, not his best showing, I've noticed here. Also, when you compare it to the Whittingham, luckily he doesn't have to do that in this race. Balnikov. 6 wins in 17 races last time out. The San Francisco G3 closing out and finishing by a nose over Rio King there. How about that for a win? Before that, finished seventh place at the Frank Kilroe. Again, we're going back to that behind Gold Phoenix, who was 9+ lengths up in that race. Second in the G2 in the Mathis Mile, losing by a nose to One More Bid. Won Byron Station, a G3 by a nose. Miles about right for Balnikov. That's a good distance for him. I think I've noticed um, in terms of his win and in the money percentages. Iridio rolls off the tongue so nicely. 5 wins in 16 races. Last out, he got a second place finish at a G2, the American Stakes, losing by 1.5 to Exalted. Again, another race that we're going to be repeating throughout. Previous to that, he did struggle in some G2s and G3s. A fourth place finish at Thunder Road. He was only 3/4 of a length back in that one behind Earl's Rock. At the Joe Hernandez, he was 4 lengths off of Air Force Red in that race. And then fifth place, 3 3/4 lengths off of Hong Kong Harry. More competitive at the lower grade races, I would say. G1, probably not his cup of tea. Cabo Spirit. So 4 wins in 19 races for Cabo Spirit, a fourth place finish at the Maker's Mark Mile, the G1. 5 lengths behind Chez, Pierre, and Modern Games. Chez Pierre winning that race, beating Modern Games. We'll talk more about that in a sec. Third place finished at the Frank Kilroe, 1 length behind Gold Phoenix in that one. At the Thunder Road, a G3, he finished sixth, 2.25 lengths behind Earl's Rocks. Got a few races that we're repeating here, a few horses that have beaten up on each other a number of times. He was stuck in 11th for most of that race, so actually finishing sixth was quite an improvement. Last win for Cabo was Twilight Derby, G2 in October of 2022, going 9 furlongs there, closing out for half a length win. Exalted, 4 wins, 14 races, 3 wins in a row, which is always fun to watch, always impressive when you get a horse like this. It's on a winning streak. Last race, American Stakes G3 won by 1.5 lengths over Iridio, who we just talked about. Previous to that, his wins were allowance races. He had two in the neighborhood of 70K races, in both cases going a mile and winning by 1 3/4 lengths in fields of 11 and 9 horses at Santa Anita. Again, pretty impressive. Not graded stakes races, but you like to see that distance of win there. You like to see that it's at the same distance as this race. You like to see those lengths, and you also like to see 9 and 11 horse races. Um, those are the more difficult ones to win, I would say, just in looking at the numbers in terms of predictability. Your percentage of predictability goes down by, I would say, about 10% once you start getting into 9 plus 10, 11, 12. It gets difficult. Stays close to the pace, charges hard for victory. Previous to 2023, finished in the money or close, showing much promise in this current year. Exalted. Chez Pierre. Look at that. Seven races, 6 wins. Three of those were in France, so only four of those in the US, but he's got 3 wins out of four in the US. Winner of the Maker's Mark Mile at G1 last time out, beating Modern Games by 3.5 lengths. I mean, that's pretty impressive stuff right there. Previous to that, his only loss was a sixth place finish at the Tampa Bay Stakes, going 8.5 furlongs in that race, losing by 4 lengths at the end. He was in third, 1 length behind as he started on the stretch, but was overcome by a number of other horses and faded there. Obviously, this is a mile, so he doesn't have to worry about that extra half of a furlong, which can be the deal breaker for some horses. Blew away the field in the Henry Clark Stakes, going 1 mile, winning by 5.5 lengths there. Um, yeah, impressive horse, Chez Pierre. De Jour, no picture for De Jour. 3 wins in 12 races for De Jour. Bob Baffert horse we're talking about here. Fourth place finish recently at the American Stakes. It's a smaller race. This is one that threw me off. I probably would have had De Jour a little bit higher, but that last race at the American Stakes, felt like he should have won that one. Felt like he should have been more of a factor there. Looked better at the Frank Hill Row. This is a horse that does charge from way behind, so you're going to see this. Was dead last at the Frank Hill Row at the stretch point, and then ended up finishing a close second place. I think he lost by a neck or head in that race. Second place finish in Thunder Road, again coming from way behind down the stretch to win that one. So that may have been part of his issue at the American Stakes. Previous to ran in a lot longer races, looked pretty good, finished either in the money or close to the money, but not as good as he has looked in the mile against the Bob Baffert horse or at Santa Anita. So that's obviously a consideration. Air Force Red, possible pace setter here. I've seen him set the pace before. Last time out, ran the Siren Lure Stakes, a 6 furlong downhill. Small field, finished second there. Fifth at the Frank Kilrow G1, setting the pace. Lost 4 places down the stretch, eventually finishing 1 3/4 lengths back in that one. Finished third in Thunder Road, a G3, pretty much maintained the same position throughout the entire race, and impressively wired the Joe Hernandez Stakes, a 6 furlong downhill race, winning by 1 3/4 lengths there. Um, got a couple other horses that make up the rest. Il Bellator, only graded stakes, was a G3. We finished third. That was his last race out. Looked good, but this is a deeper crowd here, a deeper field of G1 racers, G2 racers. So I think it's maybe a little bit early to call Il Bellator a considerable horse in this race. Salesman, only record there. He's coming over from France. This would be his first race in the US. So I think there's a few other horses I would place above him. Always hard shipping and running that first race. If he is entered, by the way, as we said before, these are probables and possibles. Flavius hasn't won a race since 2021. Instatoss. Indian Peak, also an Instatoss. 2021 is his last win. Looked good in a few graded stakes races since then. Been in and out of graded stakes. Maybe catching a third or a fourth every once in a while, but I feel like this is a pretty deep field, so I don't want to play him here. So what do we got? Well, in summary, gonna go with Chez Pierre. Why not? I mean, with the field we have here, I think there's going to be a lot of money going to Hong Kong Harry, a lot of money going to Gold Phoenix, who I didn't put in my box, by the way. I think if I were to extend this out one further, Gold Phoenix would definitely be my next horse up. It was a tough toss up between him and De Jour. I didn't like De Jour's last race, but I do feel like there could be a rebound here. I like Chez Pierre a lot. I think there could be a good value play on him here. I'm curious to see. I mean, 6 wins. Maybe he's going to get bet a little bit heavier than I'm predicting here. Hard to tell without the morning line now and with some of the other horses. Exalted. I like Exalted here in my box. If I'm going to key, I'm going to key Hong Kong Harry. 9 wins in 15 races. I think that's considerable. I think he's probably going to be the favorite in this one. Again, hard to tell, but I decided to key on Hong Kong Harry for this one with Shea Pierre. Exalted. I like what he's been doing lately. I like a good little winning streak there, and the Bob Baffert horse Jour rounds it out for me. If I cross out the last race and look back at what he's done, I like the way he's been finishing in the money, and I like a horse that charges from behind in a turf race like this, as long as he's got those angles to get through. And Jour has done it a number of times. I feel like he could be a good play here. So that's what I got for the Shoemaker. Eventually, they're going to tell us who's going to be in it. Got to wait. It's going to be on Monday. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know. Hit the subscribe button. Let me know who you think's going to win. Let me know what you think of my picks here. See ya.